Welcome to a new video, and today we're going to be sorting out this oil leak as well as the stubborn engine light that just doesn't want to go away. So without any further ado, let's get cracking. Head over to Nigel and sort this out. Alright guys, so let's get into this. We start off by removing the coolant reservoir bottle. It's held in with two 10mm bolts if I'm not mistaken. Then we remove the washer fluid bottle as well, and just to give us a bit of space to work on the engine, we'll be removing the timing chain cover because that's exactly where the leak comes from, and that's held in place by 4 or 5 10mm bolts as well. So that's our timing chain cover gaskets, and they look pretty perished, to be honest. And that is a timing chain. If you've ever wondered what it looks like, that's it right there. So now we're going to just give the timing chain cover a nice little clean, get all the residue off, all the old oil. It might have been clogged up on there, and then we'll be putting it back, replacing the gaskets as well. Alright guys, so timing chain cover nice and clean. Make sure the surfaces of the engine is nice and clean as well, so that there are no imperfections that may cause an oil leak. Once that's done, you put the seals on, and then you put the timing chain cover back on, bolts in. You might struggle with two bolts that are at the bottom, which you will probably see now. But other than that, the job is quite simple. It's bolt in, bolt out. Then after that, those your washer fluid bottle, goes back in, as well as your coolant reservoir bottle, and that's the job. So that sucker's done. No more oil leaks. So what we're gonna do now is clean the engine bay up a little bit, especially at the areas where you can see obvious oil leaks. Wash it down. Remember to cover your coil packs, because those are probably the easiest to get wet and damaged. And then spray off and start the engine to see if there are any oil leaks.
Yeah, so far we're nice and dry. Nice and dry. We'll have to drive it for a while and see. but I've never seen one to leak again. This diaphragm, see it's split,
Oh, okay.
so then it can't create vacuum anymore.
Oh,
See there. Yours is working. You can hear the flaps working.
mm.
And I think this moves up and
Yeah, I
back.
saw that.
Did
yeah.
you see it? Okay, so then yours could be the little.
So as you can see, guys, we're trying to diagnose this intake problem. Seems to be the sensor on the left hand side, which is not signaling to the intake manifold runner position switch sensor. I think that's the name of it. So that's causing the engine light.
Nitro resistance too high.
Okay, so now that we've diagnosed what the issue is, we'll be ordering the necessary parts that we need to fix it, and once and all get rid of these engine lights and getting the GTI into a very good working standard. And one thing that I did need to do is the engine service, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. All you need is your oil pan, this is a little bucket, and then some mats that I'm going to lay on the toolbox, maybe some gloves and some newspaper just underneath the oil pan in case there's a mess. Plastic under tray. I'm not sure, this is probably T15, T20, maybe T25s. There's a few of them that need to come out, and we can get underneath with the don't have the T45 set for the ratchet. I'm gonna head over to the hardware and get that so I can complete this job. Alright, so take two, just come back from the hardware store, got the adapter, socket adapter for the sump plug. So let's get the job done. Try and get in here. Over. This is the sump plug there. So that's what we're trying to get to. of the oil filter. Just gonna give it a clean around here. Okay, so oil is still draining out. We'll let that drain out completely, and then we'll add our new filter and oil. Some plug, and you'll have a copper washer. This is very important to have this copper washer, just so that it doesn't pinch or anything. The copper washer just locks it in, and copper doesn't rust. So very important, copper washer. Okay, so some plug goes back in. If you don't have a torque tool, just make sure you don't over tighten it. It's fine. You just keep checking to see if there is any oil leaking from it or not. I think the torque specs is 30 newton meters if you do have, and that'll be it. As you can see, I ran into an issue with the oil filter, so I'm just putting the old one back and then the oil back in, and see if we've done a good job. So I put the old oil filter back in because the new one is not working. I have to take it back and that is that. Job done. So I'm giving the under tray a nice clean up because it's got a little bit of oil buildup on before I put it back, and yeah, that's the last step of the job. Clean up, and that's it. How's it, guys? So this will be the end of this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It doesn't cost much, it doesn't cost anything at all. It's just a click of the button, and it's gonna help this channel extremely, and it will be much appreciated. We've now established that, or we have one more issue ticked off of the list, which would be the top oil leak, and that is the timing chain cover gasket. Next step would be the intake manifold, which is coming up on the dashboard as an engine light. And you would have seen in the video that there's nothing wrong with the manifold. It's just a sensor that needs to be replaced. We're ordering that part, and when we get it, we'll be installing it, and hopefully we'll have no engine light coming back on. The third thing, or the next thing on the list after that, would be the turbo. We can classify this maybe or maybe not as a performance upgrade, because there are a couple of options that we can do. We can either replace the turbo completely with a new one, or we can refurb the turbo that's on here. The third thing would then also be refurbing the turbo that's on here with hybrid parts, which would mean a more or upgraded turbo. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you should do that or not. And yes, thanks again for watching the video, guys. It's much appreciated. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.